So most of you guys know that this past weekend I was competing in the Wells Fargo AxIS shootout at Lime Rock. This was the championship. Over the course of the year, Lime Rock has different clubs come and run. At their autocross series, they link the go-kart tracks together and they run a time portion at the end of the day. At the end of the year, they end up taking the top 20 times overall and they invite them back for a shootout in the fall. This year, I ran in July with my 1991 turbocharged Miata. The time that I set during the time portion of that, they put me in 6th place overall. There was a pre-shootout that they invited the top 30 contestants back with a chance, if you were in the 20 to 30 range, with a chance to win a spot back for the final shootout. I was pretty safe with my time, so I brought my 99 Miata. I set the lower course lap record that day, and nobody had beaten that before the shootout. So I was invited back to the shootout. I brought my 99 again. Did a little more prep work on the car because I saw some of the flaws in it when I was at the pre-shootout. Realigned the car. I picked up a set of 225 Hoosier A6s, slightly used runoff tires, because let's face it, the top guys were running race tires, and I wanted to, since I was up there in the running, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be compromised by running my Kumo XS street tires. The day this weekend, it was cold as hell. Temperatures in the northwest corner of Connecticut, the highs were somewhere around like 34, 35 degrees. Like real freeze your, numbing fingers, numbing toes, freeze your ass off all day sort of conditions. That surface on that track is like already kind of lacking in grip. So combine that with the cold temperatures, tire grip was certainly a factor in tire temps. They started the day off around noon. They ran practice on both of the courses linked together, so it was their full course configuration. This is what they ran the shootout with last year. However, they kind of threw up a wild card before the time portion of the day. They decided to only run the timing on the lower course, and I don't know if they did this because it was just so freaking cold that they didn't want to be there, or they said it was because this was a configuration that nobody had ever run, when in hindsight they made a cone chicane, which they ran during the time sessions throughout the year. They just reversed that gate. So that was really the only change. To a guy like me, I mean, having to modify 2 lines just to accommodate the change in this chicane gate is not that much of a big deal, but that's how they ran it. The running order kind of is arguable, maybe cost me a little bit of time because they ran its slowest qualifying time the fastest. So they started that around 2:30 in the afternoon, which is probably the warmest time of the day. The sun was still beating onto the track, so the pavement was kind of absorbing some of that. By the time I got out there being dead last, I had no sun left. Temperatures had definitely dropped a little bit more. It was closer to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. How I did in the competition, I ended up finishing 2nd place. I lost to a Formula Ford race car, a 2012 body with a Honda Fit engine package. He beat me by 0.199 seconds, so just under 0.2 of a second he got me by. There's a couple factors at play. I was a little disappointed. First of all, I was a little bit disappointed that they only ran the lower portion of that track. Where they connect the tracks to the upper go-kart course, it's definitely more technical. There's a big off-camber jump as you enter into the upper course. The fastest way through the upper course is definitely bouncing off some of the curbing. I think my car would have had the advantage there as a Formula car with the Formula inboard suspension. Doesn't like uneven surfaces or bumps like that. The running order kind of maybe got me a little bit too. It's arguable that the surface temps dropping and the outside temps dropping made me struggle with tire temp a little bit, but Overall, I will say that preparing for this event was definitely a great thing because I got the car back out this year. I hadn't driven it all year when I ran the pre-shootout. I saw where the flaws were in the suspension. I had a heavy mid-corner push. Really forced me to kind of go dial the shocks in and realign it and get it to where I wanted it to be. The way it drove at the shootout was freaking fantastic, and you guys will see in some of the practice footage. My first session out, I went out on the Kumos. Cold temps, Kumo AxIS that are 4 years old. The thing was, it was great. It had a great balance of grip, and I can still make the rear end move around and slide it around at will with the throttle, and it was fantastic. Like honestly, like if I had to give you guys my most honest expression of a pure, engaging, enjoyable car to drive, it would be my 1999 Miata. That car is set up right now better than any of these other cars that I have. You know, given time, I'm sure I can get the other ones close to, to that level, but this competition really forced me to get that car there, and that I'm very thankful for. I left that event with like a smile on my face. I was just like, man, that car fucking drove awesome, and it felt great. So that was a really good thing. You know, the guys that who I battled for second, third, fourth, and fifth with, they're all awesome people. Dean Cusano, he's last year's champion. He ran his Jag street/track day car. Eric LaCour ran his modified Mazda Speed Miata. Ryan King, who you're awesome buddy by the way, ran his turbocharged Toyota MR2 Spider. There's another guy who was in the top 5. He had a brand new Boss 302 Mustang. I don't remember his name. I didn't really get to talk to him, but excellent performance as well. So yeah, it was a good day overall. Again, I think the best part that was able to come out of this was just really getting the car dialed into where it has to be. At the end of the day, I'm not really disappointed with the loss. I mean, going up against a Formula car that weighs, a Formula 4 with a Honda Fit package has to weigh 1,100 pounds with the driver. So that puts that car somewhere around 930 pounds. And even with 115 horsepower, the power to weight ratio is still greater than my car. The name of the game for this competition, especially being a tighter technical course, is lightness and cornering speed. And I'm not going to be able to, my street car that has a unibody suspension that was built for compliance and safety is not going to compete against a single monocoque Formula car with race tires that's going to generate way more grip and have way faster cornering speed. So I'm happy with how well the car performed. I think it performed fantastic. It was great driving, and it was great just actually taking it out this year because I really haven't had time to do anything with it. So overall, yeah, that's where I'm at. It was good otherwise, and winter's upon us. I'm not looking forward to Connecticut winters. I hate them with a passion. I'll be the first to say it. I don't like having downtime with the cars, not being able to drive because there's all that cancer-causing shit all over the road. But it gives me the opportunity to kind of work on some of the other car projects that I have going on here. I certainly have a shit long bucket list of stuff that I have to do. Stay tuned for some more updates on the builds and some of the other projects that I have going on this winter. And that's about it. That's all I have at this point. So you guys have a good night, and I'm out.